So New Mexico is on the cusp of reimagining how we handle and help people with mental illness in our criminal justice system.
Yeah, you could even say the system itself is incompetent because people like judges and lawyers were never meant or trained to deal with serious psychiatric disorders.
For investigator Ryan Laughlin pulls back the curtain on how New Mexico's behavioral health reforms started across the country and what it'll take to help people stuck in a hopeless cycle.
You can see the pain in broad daylight. People sick, lost in cycles, now familiar to their neighbors.
What's up, Oliver?
The perspective for Pete Caceres, state police chief turned business owner in Albuquerque's Old Town, is changing.
I think probably I might have been part of the problem.
Hard for a former cop to admit police are not the solution for people like Consuelo.
The Nazis are following them right now.
She is one of the frequent faces chased out of Old Town.
Was wondering if you're doing okay.
So we talked with her.
Where are you staying in the meantime?
I have a safe house because of this.
She's a true depiction of someone with mental illness. Mostly, she has zero place to go. She has nowhere to go. But I think the bigger issue we're seeing now is folks that are truly suffering from mental illness, and there's not much out there.
Have a good day.
Our 4 Investigates team flew across the country in search of a better way, a system delivering results. We found we were not alone.
Quietly, very powerful New Mexico policymakers have been coming here to a homeless shelter in Miami to try and come up with solutions for our behavioral health crisis.
You need to fix this.
Judge Steve Leifman is the architect of the Miami model.
The disease itself is much more complicated than the solution.
Over the last 25 years, he has helped change a criminal justice system that now sees fewer repeat offenders, lower jail populations, and has helped turn the tide on homelessness.
It's really about helping people access care, helping them manage their care, have warm handoffs, housing, and it works.
Leifman says the current system is doing a job it shouldn't. 4% of the U.S. population lives with serious mental illness, but the U.S. jail population has more than 4 times that. And most of those people are abusing drugs or alcohol. The Miami model builds a robust diversion program into the court system, reducing charges and jail time in exchange for voluntary treatment. And then the court holds them to it.
You do need to hold people accountable. However, if they have a serious mental illness, traditional accountability such as jail is only going to make the matters worse. You know, we have 2 choices. We can release people with treatment, or we can release them without treatment. And we know what happens when we release them without treatment.
Leifman says the results are undeniable. The jail population dropped so much the county closed one of its 3 jails.
Thank you.
Back in New Mexico's largest jail, records 4 Investigates dug up shows nearly half the people in the Metropolitan Detention Center received treatment for some type of mental illness. Hundreds of inmates are prescribed medication, but when they get out, fewer than 1 in 5 pick up their meds.
This, to me, is a key part of the overall public safety discussion.
New Mexico State Senator Peter Wirth drafted last session's Senate Bill 3 based off of the Miami model. The official vote, with broad bipartisan support, proudly hangs over his desk.
If you don't have a system in place for those folks to be able to get the treatment they need to get out of those cycles, it just makes it next to impossible.
The law puts the courts and the healthcare authority in charge of identifying gaps in the current system and asks local communities where millions of dollars should go to fix this broken system. Lawmakers earmarked over $500 million in immediate spending to jumpstart reforms.
What would you tell people that say, this is another example of them throwing money at a problem that we're not going to see results of?
I would tell you this. If you gave me $1 billion in Florida and I spent it on the existing system, nothing would change. It has to be a different system than the one we're using today.
In some ways, Consuelo defines New Mexico's current system.
But you got food and water. You're doing okay out here.
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
She has been charged 10 times for trespassing in less than 2 years, cycling in and out of jail, chased from one place to the next.
You know, it's not just incarceration and accountability, it's, you know, getting people some help.
The position for this former cop is that the system he enforced needs to change. What exactly changes for New Mexicans and how soon it arrives will be the test to see if this dusty outlook can adopt the splashy changes that transformed a system to help people. Ryan Laughlin, 4 Investigates.